Let's talk about another player that has found a new home, a new scene. And you know what, Jacob? He's also come from a very harsh fan base. So I think our players are pretty similar in
Oh
that
yeah,
respect, at least. And that is new QB for the Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold. Um,
that's right.
you could literally be standing on a fence right now, pinpoint balance, looking on both sides, and it is very divided now out there in the fantasy community regarding Sam Darnold. And I'm here to tell you, jump on this side of the hype train, baby, because I think Sam Darnold is prime for a breakout season. And here's why. It took me a long time to build the hype for that. I got silent for a second because I was like ready to say something and then I just kind of forgot about it. But it's back in my head. We first have to start with a man by the name of Adam Gase. Now, I get it. He gets a lot of flack for being a bad head coach. And he is. He's never had a team with a winning record. I think maybe one season in his like 6 NFL head coaching seasons, he's had a winning record. He's a bad coach. He's never produced fantasy relevant, really anything for offensive purposes. More specifically, he has never had a QB finish inside the top 25 at the quarterback position. So right there tells you that Sam Darnold's first 3 years, of course they were going to be irrelevant because we saw what Adam Gase did to Ryan Tannehill in Miami. Then Ryan Tannehill goes off. He gets out of the Adam Gase torture. He finishes as the QB7 and QB21 over the last 2 seasons. Remarkable stuff. Of course, he's my follower this year, so that doesn't make sense why I'm saying it. But you know what? To each their own. It plays its weight in every conversation. So with that being said, not only does he get a new start in, sunny Florida, but he gets a new head start with a new head coach. And I like that scenario a little bit more, or I should say a lot more than I do with one than Adam Gase. We can talk about weapons next, right? You come into a situation and your running back bait is CMC. You have to be ecstatic about that. He's the best running back in football. He's the most explosive weapon in all of football. And now he gets to line up side by side with you every single play.
And he's basically a receiver.
Now, if you want to talk about the receivers, we can, because you have 2 top 20 wide receivers last year. Well, I think you had 3 top 24 wide receivers last year in DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and then obviously Curtis Samuel. He's now gone. He plays for the Washington football team. But I think they did a really nice job of not drafting a player that plays like Curtis Samuel at all, but a really good touted receiver in Terrence Marshall Jr. I think he's great for that team as well.
Never heard of him.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. I'm super hyped on him. Just drafted in my Dynasty League. Got to plug it in.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, those weapons are arguably better than someone like a Jameis Crowder, who, yes, has had fantasy success, and he's been a reliable, NFL target for a number of years now. And Denzel Mims showed promise last year. But these guys, it's better all around. And when you got a headache like come on, I can't even forget his name. Oh, when you have a headache like Le'Veon Bell and praise his heart old man Frank Gore running the ball, taking the rock, it's not going to look pretty, okay? And Ty Johnson was good at the end of last year. Obviously, we'll save that discussion for a later day because New York has reconstructed their backfield. But we're talking about Sam Darnold. And I just think a new start with these weapons, with a new head coach, I think it leads to great fantasy success for a guy like Sam Darnold, who has never been fantasy relevant in his 3 years as an NFL football player. Now, am I telling you that he is going to crack the top 15 last year? No. He finished as the QB 30 last year. I think he makes the jump into that 15 to 20 range, which makes him perfectly reliable in super flex leagues. And he becomes like a fringe streamer quarterback for fantasy purposes if you're playing week to week and in one quarterback leagues. Okay? So with that being said, I'm not saying he's going to jump into top 10 success. He's going to blow the doors open. But I think over the next 2 years, if he can prove himself, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it is quite possibly a bold prediction that we could see top 10 success from a guy like Sam Darnold. Not next year, but be on the lookout because this year is a huge measuring experience to see what the future holds for Sam Darnold. And I think it's going to be pretty good. At least I want to be excited for the guy. Okay. So that is my QB riser for the 2021 fantasy football season. I feel like I talk a lot when I do that stuff. Jacob, how do you feel? I know that's a lot of information to take in.
No, I mean it makes sense. You got to make your case. And I mean, that I've been in on Sam Darnold ever since he was traded to the Carolina Panthers. I think it's going to be, I don't know what to compare it to, but we can't judge him on that situation in New York. It was all bad. It was just all bad all the way around. And look, and it also, you want to add to the argument, I think the best receiver to have their best season with Sam Darnold was Robbie Anderson. On the New York Jets. So he already knows this guy. He has a connection. And I don't know if you I think Sam Darnold is just super happy. And so he feels loved. He feels wanted. Kind of like I was talking about with Carson Wentz. Like, it's going to be positive vibes and just so much positivity in Carolina. Like, they're all in on him. They traded away Teddy Bridgewater. They didn't draft another quarterback. So they are in on Sam Darnold, and rightfully so. He was a top pick for a reason. And I'm just rooting for the guy. He seems like a good guy, and I hope he does well. And I think he's set up for a lot of success right now. Like, the receivers are really damn good. And then you got the promising young rookie as well. And just he has a CMC. Like, what, this is, I mean, I personally think at this point in their careers that Sam Darnold is better than Teddy Bridgewater. He's just more mobile and he's more athletic right now than Teddy Bridgewater is. But Teddy Bridgewater is a safe quarterback, and he's played that way kind of ever since he had that major injury. So I just think so. The point being is that, and then who was the quarterback last year for not last year, the year before for the Panthers? It was what was it, Cam Newton, right? It was a bunch of different guys. It was yeah. There was like a rotation of different. So my point being is now they have stability at quarterback, and this is probably the best quarterback that they've had there in a while
since Cam Newton.
Yeah, since Cam Newton. And I know Christian McCaffrey played with Cam Newton, but Cam Newton was definitely not in his prime. Those last couple years with CMC. So, yeah, dude, I agree. Like, if you didn't choose Sam Darnold, I would have. So, great choice.
Thank you. And that's what happens when you make the notes for the show. Jacob, I had no idea how much of an advantage you had when going into planning our episodes. That's going to do it, guys. Those are our risers and fallers at the quarterback position for the 2021 season that lies ahead.